Most people think overthinking is a sign of intelligence, a way of being cautious before making a decision. But the truth is, overthinking is a silent thief. It steals your time, your energy, your peace, and your opportunities. It's like trying to drive a car with the handbrake on. You might move forward, but it's slow, painful, and exhausting. Overthinking often disguises itself as preparation, but it's actually procrastination in disguise. You replay conversations in your head, imagine worst case scenarios, and analyze every tiny detail until you're paralyzed. You end up living more in your mind than in your actual life. The problem isn't that you think too much, it's that you think without action. Thinking should be a bridge to doing, not a replacement for it. One of the most damaging effects of overthinking is that it magnifies problems that don't even exist yet. You create monsters in your head and then start fighting them before they're even real. You convince yourself of failures that haven't happened and talk yourself out of opportunities that could change your life. Overthinking doesn't protect you from pain, it just makes you suffer twice, once in your imagination and once in reality. The cure lies in training your mind to focus on what's in front of you. When you start catching yourself spiraling into what-if thoughts, pause and ask, is this thought helping me take action or keeping me stuck? The key is to shift from excessive thinking to intentional doing. Journaling, meditation, setting deadlines, or even physically changing your environment can break the loop. The more you act, the quieter the noise becomes. Life is too short to be lived only inside your head. Action creates clarity. Movement creates momentum. You don't need to have everything figured out before you start. You just need to take one step, then the next. Overthinking will keep you in the same place, but courage, even in small doses, will take you further than endless analysis ever could. Overthinking is like having a constant storm in your mind. You wake up with thoughts swirling, you carry them into your day, and even when you try to rest, they follow you into the night. It doesn't just steal your peace, it robs you of time, energy, and opportunities you might never get back. Imagine having a bag of gold coins that represents every moment of your life. Each time you overthink, you're handing those coins away to situations that haven't even happened yet. You're paying a price for events that might never exist. Time is one of the most precious resources we have, and overthinking drains it without mercy. Think about how many hours you've spent replaying a conversation, worrying about what someone might think, or running through endless what-if scenarios. While you're stuck in that loop, life is moving forward. Opportunities are passing by quietly, and you don't even notice them because your focus is locked on something that's only happening in your head. You can't be fully present for the people around you, and you miss moments you can never recreate. Energy is another victim. Overthinking is exhausting because your mind is in a constant state of overdrive. It's like leaving a light bulb on all night. Eventually, it burns out. You start your day already tired, not because you did anything physically demanding, but because you've been carrying the weight of 100 imaginary scenarios. And the more you think, the heavier it feels. This isn't the kind of tiredness that goes away with a nap. It's the kind that comes from being emotionally drained. Then there's the loss of opportunity. Overthinking convinces you that you're not ready, that there's still something you need to figure out before you take a step. You hesitate, and in that hesitation, doors close. Sometimes they close quietly, and you never even realize what you missed. You don't apply for the job because you think you're not qualified enough. You don't start the project because you fear it won't be perfect. You don't tell someone how you feel because you imagine they won't feel the same. And before you know it, you've let your mind talk you out of living the very life you want. Overthinking doesn't just delay you, it slowly builds a life you didn't choose, simply because you weren't brave enough to act before the moment passed. And the truth is, once those moments are gone, they rarely come back. Overthinking often wears the mask of preparation. It convinces you that you're being careful, strategic, and responsible. You tell yourself you're just gathering more information, weighing all your options, or making sure you don't make a mistake. But the reality is, most of the time, it's procrastination in disguise. You're not preparing to act, you're preparing to prepare. And the longer you stay in that loop, the more paralyzed you become. Preparation is important, but there's a fine line between getting ready and never starting. It's like standing at the edge of a swimming pool, dipping your toes in, testing the water again and again, telling yourself you'll jump in once it feels right. But here's the truth, it will never feel perfect. No amount of thinking will give you the same clarity that actually diving in will. You learn more in a single step forward than in 1,000 hypothetical scenarios in your mind. Overthinking masquerading as preparation makes you feel productive when you're actually stuck. You might spend hours researching a topic, reading endless articles, or asking for advice from multiple people, yet you still don't move. Why? Because your mind has turned getting ready into a safe zone. In preparation mode, there's no risk of failure, no judgment, no mistakes. But there's also no progress. You're safe, but you're standing still. The danger is that this false sense of productivity can keep you trapped for months or even years. You tell yourself, I'm just not ready yet. But deep down, it's not readiness you're waiting for, it's the courage to take the leap. And courage doesn't come from more thinking, it comes from doing. Imagine you're planting a seed. You can prepare the soil, research the right watering schedule, and even buy the best gardening tools. But if you never put the seed in the ground, all your preparation is meaningless. Overthinking is like endlessly polishing the tools while the seed sits in your hand. Real preparation ends with action. If your thinking isn't moving you toward a decision or a step forward, it's just a comfortable cage. And while you stay inside it, the world outside moves on. You don't need to have the entire plan figured out to start. You just need to take the first imperfect step. That's how true preparation transforms into progress. One of the most damaging effects of overthinking is how it takes small problems and blows them up into mountains. It's like looking at your worries through a magnifying glass. Every little uncertainty becomes massive. Every potential issue becomes a disaster in your mind. You start creating stories about things that haven't even happened yet. And then you begin reacting to those imaginary situations as if they were real. In the process, you end up suffering twice, once in your head and once, if it ever actually happens in reality. Think about it, most of the things we worry about never come true, yet our minds are experts at painting vivid pictures of worst-case scenarios. You imagine failing the presentation before you've even stood up to speak. You picture the rejection before you've even applied for the job. You rehearse heartbreak before you've even had the courage to love. And while you're busy living in those dark possibilities, you rob yourself of the joy, hope, and confidence you could be experiencing right now. Overthinking convinces you that by anticipating problems you're protecting yourself, but in truth you're just exhausting your spirit before the real challenge even arrives. It's like running a marathon in your head before you've even reached the starting line. By the time life actually asks you to show up, you're too tired to run the real race. The saddest part is that overthinking doesn't just magnify fear, it also minimizes opportunity. When your mind is constantly scanning for danger, it has less space to notice the good. You might miss the kindness in someone's smile because you're too busy wondering if they secretly dislike you. You might miss an exciting opportunity because you're busy imagining all the ways it could fail. In trying to protect yourself from pain, you also protect yourself from joy. Breaking this habit means catching yourself in the act of magnifying. The moment your thoughts start spiraling into what if, pause and ask, do I know this is true, or am I just imagining it? The more you practice separating facts from fears, the more you shrink the monsters in your mind back to their real size. Life already has its share of genuine challenges. Don't add unnecessary ones by fighting battles that only exist in your imagination. The weight you feel isn't always from the life you're living, sometimes it's from the life you're only thinking about. The real cure for overthinking begins when you train your mind to focus on what's actually in front of you, not what could go wrong in 1,000 different imaginary futures. Most of the time, when we get stuck in our thoughts, it's because we're living in what-if mode. We replay the past or predict the future, but we forget to live in the only place where action is possible, the present moment. When you catch yourself spiraling into endless thinking, you have to pause and ask, is this thought helping me take action, or is it keeping me stuck? That single question can become a powerful filter. If the thought pushes you toward a decision, a step, or a solution, keep it. If it just circles around the same fears and doubts, it's time to let it go. Shifting from overthinking to intentional action doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or being reckless. It means deciding that your energy is better spent moving forward than circling the same mental track. Sometimes the smallest shift, writing down your thoughts instead of replaying them, standing up and walking into a different room, or setting a timer to make a decision, can break the loop. Movement, no matter how small, interrupts the cycle. One of the simplest but most overlooked tools for this is journaling. When you write your thoughts on paper, you take them out of the endless echo chamber in your head and give them structure. You can see them for what they are, words, not facts, possibilities, not certainties. Meditation works in a similar way. By practicing stillness, you learn to watch your thoughts without getting pulled into them. You begin to see that you are not your thoughts, you are the one observing them. Deadlines are another powerful way to force action. When you give yourself a clear time limit, you create urgency that overthinking can't compete with. Without deadlines, decisions stretch endlessly, and fear has all the time in the world to grow. Breaking the habit of overthinking is not about silencing your mind completely. It's about giving it a new job to serve action, not replace it. The more you act, the quieter the noise becomes. And the beautiful thing is, once you take that first step, you realize the decision you've been analyzing for days or months didn't need perfection, it just needed motion. Life is far too short to spend it trapped inside the walls of your own mind. Overthinking keeps you standing at the doorway of life, peeking through but never fully stepping in. Action is what opens that door. It's what transforms uncertainty into clarity. The truth is, you will never think your way into complete confidence. Confidence comes after you take the step, not before. When you start moving, even in small ways, something shifts. Action has a way of revealing answers that thinking alone could never give you. You might not know exactly how a journey will unfold, but by taking the first step, you give life the chance to respond. It's like walking through fog. You can only see a few feet ahead, but each step makes the next few feet visible. If you wait until you can see the entire road, you'll be waiting forever. Overthinking tricks you into believing that stillness is safety, but in reality, stillness is the slowest form of self-sabotage. Every day you spend in hesitation is a day you can't get back. Courage doesn't have to mean making huge, life-altering moves. Sometimes it's as simple as sending the email, making the call, starting the conversation, or showing up when you don't feel ready. And here's the thing: you will make mistakes. You will take steps that don't work out exactly as planned. But mistakes made while moving forward teach you far more than flawless plans made in your head. Action turns uncertainty into experience, and experience is where wisdom grows. The more you act, the less fear controls you. Not because fear disappears, but because you prove to yourself again and again that you can move through it. Every step you take builds a track record of survival, resilience, and adaptability. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, because you understand the perfect moment is the one you create by acting. In the end, overthinking will leave you with a life full of possibilities that never became real. Action will leave you with a life full of stories, lessons, and growth. And when you look back, you won't remember every scenario you imagined. You'll remember the steps you took, the risks you embraced, and the moments you truly lived. Overthinking may feel like control, but it's really a cage you've built for yourself. It steals your time, drains your energy, magnifies fears, disguises itself as preparation, and keeps you stuck in a loop where life happens only in your imagination. The cure isn't found in thinking more, but in acting more. Every step you take, no matter how small, weakens the hold overthinking has on you. Life isn't meant to be perfectly calculated, it's meant to be experienced. You don't need to have all the answers before you start. You just need to be willing to move. Because the truth is, clarity comes from action, courage grows from movement, and the life you want begins the moment you step out of your head and into the world.